Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Cake Fight Presents The Making of Kaleidoscope. I'm writer, director, producer Paige Feldman, and this is the writing of Kaleidoscope, a series where I take you behind the scenes day by day, or at least I try to, until I got COVID, as I write the script for Kaleidoscope, the film that's going to be my directorial debut feature. Like I said, I got COVID, and so the last you heard from me was about 5 days ago. And now, day 8 of COVID, I finally feel well enough to give you all an update on what I've been doing and how much I've been writing. And actually, it's a lot. So how about we hop into those titles, and when we get back, I will tell you all about it. So here's the first thing you guys need to know about COVID. There's some massive brain fog that you have to suffer through and overcome. And I am at like 85% of where I usually am. But that remaining 15%, oof, I need it. I need it to finish a sentence properly and in a normal period of time, and to follow my own thoughts. So I just want to say pardon me in advance for how spacey I might seem, because I am really spacey. So I did promise you a whole, like, how many pages I wrote. I will get to that at the end. Right now, I just want to start off by telling you what COVID was like. So symptom-wise, as you can tell, my voice is really scratchy, my throat's really dry, I'm super congested, not as much as I have been. This is day 8. On day, like, 3 and 4, it felt like behind my face, behind my skull, my entire body was made up of mucus. It's gross, but it's true. It's not like a usual cold where I'll take a hot shower, or eat spicy foods, or drink a warm beverage to loosen stuff up. No, none of that did anything. Additionally, I would have a fever probably twice a day. Yes, twice a day. In the morning when I woke up, feel super foggy, feel terrible, take some Advil, it would break, and I wouldn't have a fever at all the rest of the day. I would actually feel great, and like by the time it was time to go to bed, feel really good. But then, as I was getting into bed, around 12:15, 12:30 a.m., I could feel my temperature rise. It would go back down in the middle of the night. I'd wake up in the middle of the night feeling fine. I'd wake up in the morning, fever again. Very strange, like cycles of feeling good and bad. I understand why people say it's like a cold, because it is very, congestion and sore throat and all that, but it's different. My muscles, even though I would do just a little bit of yoga, I would wake up and walk to my desk, and after having just showered and made myself some breakfast, and it would feel like I'd gone on a 3-mile run. And I know what that feels like because I do go on 3-mile runs pretty often. And then my extremities, my hands and my feet especially though, would get really cold. And they still are really cold. I'm wearing thick wool socks in my 72-degree house right now. And the biggest, besides the brain fog, the biggest and worst symptom of COVID in my experience is this inability to fight inertia. And what I mean by that is that I would be in bed, wake up at 9:45 in the morning after having gotten to bed at 12:30. And I'm not one who sleeps more than 8 hours at a time usually. I just have permanent FOMO. I'll wake up and be like, oh, what's happening? Even if I'm tired, I want to get up, see what's going on in the world. No, sir, not with COVID. I would wake up, I'd fall back asleep, wake up at 9:45 and finally drag myself out of bed, even though it would feel like I could sleep for another 9 hours. But then once I got up, I was fine. I could move, I could function. I did feel terrible in the morning. The brain fog was super heavy. It was difficult to think. But once I got moving, I could go and do things. The same thing went for sitting on the couch too, where if I was on the couch, getting up to go to the kitchen to get some water or to get up to go to the bathroom felt like such a difficult task. Then when I finally got up, I wasn't tired. I didn't feel terrible walking there. It was just this mental block that I had to overcome. And that has been the most frustrating part because I would waste half an hour, 45 minutes just convincing myself to do a task. So how did I write through that? I am going to take you through my routine. So the first thing I do in the morning is get up out of bed. Which, obvious, but with the fatigue and the inertia I have to fight, it is very difficult. It is difficult to be up at 9:45 in the morning. I have even fallen asleep at like 9:45, woken up 6 minutes later and been like, okay, time to get up, even though I've already had 9.5 hours of sleep today. Apparently that wasn't enough, but it needs to be, because I got things to do. So then, come into the bathroom, and I shower. I turn on, I have a playlist for Kaleidoscope, like I've said before, so I will open up my Spotify and get that going, so I can shower with some music that will inspire me. And then once I'm showered, I will get dressed. This has been my uniform for the past however many days I've had COVID, 8 days. Yes, I wear jeans, hard pants. I am a firm believer in dress for the job you want, and the job I want is to be well. I will wear a t-shirt or a tank top, and then a sweatshirt is a permanent fixture on me because I have been always cold for the past 8 days, which is usually not the case. Also, sweatshirts have ample pockets for tissues and my cell phone and the moisturizer I need for my lips from all of the nose blowing that I am doing. Finally, down below, you see the gray and red woolly socks because my feet are always cold. It's terrible. I hate it. I hate wearing socks when I don't have to, but if I don't, then my feet will hurt because they are feeling so cold. Once I am dressed and showered, I take my temperature, I get a cough drop, and then it is time to go downstairs and make some breakfast. So, get a mug. I like this one. It says, "Tigger, is this you?" And it's Pooh and a tiger, and it's from Animal Kingdom. My sister got it for me when she lived in Orlando. And make some breakfast. This brain fog and this inertia situation makes it so that making breakfast takes a long time. Usually it's like, 5 to 10 minutes to boil water, let the tea steep, make some toast, make some eggs, grab a bowl of cereal, something. But for this, I just get so distracted so easily. Remembering, oh, I wanted to look at that thing on my iPad, and suddenly I'm getting my iPad and I've forgotten the water's boiling. Oh, let's read a review of this movie that I wanted to see. Seriously, it has taken me 90 minutes to make a cup of tea at a certain point. Luckily, that part of my life seems to be in the past right now, so I'm going to make this cup of tea. And then when I finally get that tea made, I can sit down and I'm ready to write. And I mean, the mechanics of writing are the same as ever, I open up my computer, like so. I grab my headphones. I turn on my playlist of choice, which has mostly been some instrumental music. Today I chose some instrumental covers of pop songs, which are fun. I have my outline right next to me, and then I just set my timer for 20 minutes and hit start. Once that timer is started, I am typing for 20 minutes. These 20-minute writing sprints, I usually take a 10-minute break between them, and that's when I feel well. I'll just set a timer for 10 minutes after my 20-minute timer, and then when that one goes off, back into writing. But as with making the tea, I have been very bad at focusing and paying attention, even to a 10-minute timer, even to set a 10-minute timer. So, especially on days like 3 and 4 of having COVID, I would be sitting here just like, for 30 minutes, not realizing that time had passed at all. I mean, there's this like weird like time dilates and then it contracts when I'm distracting myself with Twitter, which is terrible. So instead of taking me 90 minutes to get through all of my 3 sprints for the day plus any extras I wanted to hit my 10-page goal, it would take me 2 to 3 hours. I would come up here after having gotten my breakfast together, made my tea, which took me an hour, even though it should only have taken me 20 minutes, at like 11:30, and by the time I'm done, it was 2:30, and time for lunch, or it was 2 or 2:30, and I've only done 2 of the 20-minute sprints. It was not ideal, but I got through it. And I know that I've said how terrible I feel and how groggy I am, especially in the morning, especially when I was running a fever. But for me, and this has always been true, it's not just during COVID, I have able to just forget myself when I'm stuck in a story. Once I'm writing, once I'm in that world, once I'm seeing the movie play out in front of me in my mind's eye, I can forget the physical and the mental ailments, anything that's plaguing me. And this was true during the very early days of quarantine in March of 2020. I would write when I was getting too anxious looking at the news, because for my 20-minute writing sprint, the only thing I could think of was what was going to happen next. And it's therapeutic and it's healing. I love it. And that might make me really annoying that I can just say, you know what, I feel terrible, but 20 minutes at a time, I'm just myself creating a world and putting things on paper. But it helps me. And that is why I've been able to write so much while I've had COVID. So last we spoke, this is where I was. Today, I wrote from page 72 through 83. I wrote 11 pages. I'm almost done with scene 16. And today, January 1st, 2022, I have not finished the script, but I have written through page 143 of this draft. Oh boy, is this script going to end up being long. It's gonna break my 194-page first draft record. I know it, because I finished scene 16, and scene 17, and scene 18, and scene 19, and scene 20, and scene 21, and scene 22. And I am writing, because scenes 23 and 24 are sort of interconnected, montage-y type things that go together. I'm writing scenes 23 and 24 now. There are 36 total scenes in this script. It's gonna be a long one, but you know, once the first draft is done, I will be able to focus on making the script that is as long as 2 scripts, just as long as 1. So I was able to write about 10 to 12 pages a day throughout my COVID isolation. I still have a few more days to go. All in all, I have had a fairly mild case of COVID. Thank goodness I was double vaxxed, and I am able to isolate, have people drop off groceries for me, and I'm getting through this. And hopefully when my isolation ends on January 4th, the day I go back to work, my entire vacation has just been consumed by COVID, unfortunately, I will feel at 100%. Right now, I'm like 85% there. So that's what it's like to write with COVID. It's not easy. For me, it's therapeutic. And I have gotten a lot done. And actually, with the page count that I've gotten done, I have written the length of an entire script in 2021. It's just not the entire script of Kaleidoscope. So those impressive totals are what I got with COVID, and I am looking forward to continuing to write more of this script, finally get it finished, hopefully in the next week or 2, and then we'll have a massive final page count for the first draft of Kaleidoscope. Until then, though, I will, fingers crossed, be continuing to make videos daily so y'all can keep abreast of my progress. As long as I feel well enough to do it, I'm going to do it. I appreciate all of you, all of the support, and I am so excited for what's going to come in 2022. Thanks again for watching. Please like this video if you haven't, subscribed if you're watching and not yet subscribed, and I will see you all tomorrow for more of the writing of Kaleidoscope.